I'm glad you talked about your daughters because something that I want to, and I know you've seen my video that I did, and I shared my experience with the world about
Yeah.
sexual assault. Now as a father, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts generally on rape?
Well, there's no matter how it is colored or twisted, rape is a crime against humanity as far as I'm concerned. Rape is as good as genocide. The only like murder, because there's some people they go through that experience and they just barely survive being alive. They are dead inside and they never come out of it. Which is why I find that most people, after many years, they take their own lives. Some people don't even know it's related to
Some
trauma
trauma
from
from the
rape.
past, yes.
So I think it is. That is like we watch what you call it, National Geographic and all of that, not Geo Wild, and you look at animals. Even when animals get honey, the scientists tell us the things they do to try to get into that space, like some kind of, we do call it negotiation or some kind of,
Wow.
yeah, even animals don't rape.
Yeah, I know, right? They have to present their manifesto, you know.
Yeah, and
Wow.
here we are, we're
Yeah,
supposed to be superior beings,
yeah.
and it can come to your heads to do that. So I wonder, it's not excuse, you can't excuse it. It's sad. And I think people, the society needs to get harsher and harder in terms of dispensing punishment and making people accountable for their actions. Because again, no amount of punishment really solves the problem. You put somebody in jail for 2 years and come back, it doesn't undo. Putting the person in prison does not in any way compensate the victim in any way. You only just put the person out of circulation so it doesn't probably do it again. So having said that, I think we have to look for more ways of making rape less appealing to people, apart from um, life imprisonment, maybe, I don't know, social ostracization. You do it, you know that you, your family, like, people are just going to leave you like outcast or just put you, like in the olden days, send it to an evil forest or something. The equivalent of that. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. It is.
Crazy.
It's
No, I mean, the thought should not even. I don't know how the thought do, and I think people do it because they know they can get away with it lightly. Unfortunately, yeah, because nobody has ever been executed for raping, so it's more or less like almost if I have a good lawyer, I can get out of it. In the States, people go to prison just for the mere act of harassment or assault, not even carnal knowledge and then yes, but here in Africa, people escape justice,
mm,
and it also has to do with our values. We have left our guard too loose as a people from the cultural point of view, that all kinds of tendencies have come into, have kind of polluted our essence as a people, our cultural beliefs. Because I do not, in all the stories that go, how things that happen within a culture. You hear of witchcraft when they tell you stories, folklore. You hear of all kinds of stories. I do not know of any culture in Nigeria. Let me limit myself to Nigeria, where in any of the folklore or in any of the stories that were being told where rape was ever mentioned. So I don't think rape is native to us. Because if it is, it would have come up in one story. Oh, this family, they were ostracized because their grandfather raped somebody, and that. These are all influences that have come from our contact with external, so to say, civilization that we have allowed to overwhelm us wrongly. So we need, so we just need to tackle it brutally, as it were. However, the justice system also needs to be challenged. If possible, you accuse somebody of rape, is walking around, and they say the case has been adjourned to 2 years' time, and it commits more. And maybe somebody gets tired, the victim dies, doesn't show up in court, the case is thrown out. So the justice system also might have to, if we have to have special courts, because it's getting to that, if we can have special courts to deal with issues of rape and matters like that, where you don't have to be subjected to the delays in our normal court system, that will really help to quicken the dispensation of justice, so you don't have cases piling up and then some of them disappearing in the process. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. It's crazy, and you put it very well. You know, the rapists tend to get away. You know,
yeah.
And the person that was harmed in this process is not believed. You know, that's why a lot of times people don't talk about it, because when you talk about it, you're not believed. People think it's your fault. It's your fault.
Yeah,
you know?
And even the stigma.
The stigma, which people need to just take off, because it doesn't make sense. You know, it really doesn't make sense, and that's why people don't speak about it. I decided to come out, so to speak, because again, I've got a platform. And you get to a certain stage in your life where you start to feel accountable for the younger ones coming up. And I just thought, you know what, if someone can see me and say, oh, well, you know, if she speaks about it, then it's okay. It doesn't, because you never know who's watching, you know, like, oh, okay, she's good, she's fine, you know, it's one way of supporting and also lending a voice to say it's not okay, but you are not a victim, you're a survivor, and it should not really define you. Do you see what I'm saying? So you feel a moral and a social responsibility. I did. In my situation, and this is something that's very prevalent. Because I started speaking to people now in the colleges, in the universities, where it's just going on rampantly, you know. And mine was, it was my final year in college, and I have refrained from actually calling the person's name, but I'm sure eventually I'm gonna do so. But again, baby steps. But yeah, so that's why I brought it up, just to ask you as a father, because I do know I shared with one of my another friend of mine who has been very, very vocal about hers. It happened to her when she was an adult. She was actually physically, and it's just bad. And you know this person. So sometimes you know the perps, you know the perpetrators, and they still go around like what she said about hers. He laughed in her face. You know, he sees her and he laughs. So yeah, it's a universal problem that people need to be talking about, and women like me. And that's why I'm challenging other women, you know, that've got a platform or that are visible, to speak out, you know, speak out. And I'm taking that step to do that. And that's why I did that, you know. It's been more than at least 30 plus years. But I'm speaking out, you know, and I'm encouraging other women to speak out. And men need to support when their women, the women in their life speak out, because sometimes women don't do that because the men are not ready to support them. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's hush hush. Some have been threatened that they would end the relationship. I've had people tell me those things. So and that's why I asked you, because you have daughters, you have sisters, you have a wife, and it's I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
Is the act of rape cannot be justified. People say, "Oh, the woman was wearing a skimpy dress."
Oh dear God, stupid.
I see Anthony Joshua wearing no shirt on the beach and training. Does
Thank
that give anybody an excuse to jump? So, and you're saying the woman is not naked. You're saying she's wearing a skimpy dress. Oh, her dress was revealing. I go about in shorts for how many years? That's my regular dress. So how much does the woman reveal more than I reveal wearing a short, a pair of shorts as a man? So those are no excuses. People are just perverted and criminally minded, and they believe they can get away with crimes, and that is why they're encouraged to do that. If people were made to pay severely for such crimes, that would be a deterrent to others.
Yeah, true. That is so true. That is so true. Anyway, so let's get away from that. That's that. Let's talk about Tonia. And the reason I'm talking about Tonia is I mentioned earlier on, for those that are listening, this is AMZ TV. And if you're watching my YouTube channel, AMZ TV, and if you're listening on my podcast, this is Ameze Live. So Tonia has come up, and the reason why I want to talk about her is for those people that are in a relationship. What makes you guys still, because I just love, this too, I'm telling you, when I'm with this too, I can't stop laughing. I knew you guys before you married, and I've seen you since through the kids, and now you're all empty nesters. What keeps you going? What keeps you, the two of them, oh my God, I love the two of you. So what is the magic? What is the tell us, what's the secret?
Well, I think if I tell you any special secret, that I'll be lying. I don't want to mislead people. I guess we're just lucky how we started off as friends, and we're very open to one another. Again, which is something to do with trust. All the businesses, we are equal partners. The properties carry the names of both of us in equal, not because we don't have any pre-nil agreement signed or whatever, but both of you are together. So why would one person, if I go out working and I don't have the rest of mind that she gives to me, I probably won't succeed at work. So why should I think I can underrate her contribution of peace of mind to my functioning and whatever benefits it brings? So, for example, like the cars at home, none of them is in my name. So it's trust. It's just trust. Like, we're friends. I met Tonia, we're like friends for a long time before we, and I won't even say we dated. We're friends. She became my confidant, and then I just reckon, oh, wow, it will be good to have this person in your corner for a long time. But if she gets married, you probably lose that. So why don't you ask her if she'll be willing to take a risk to marry you? So I didn't go to her to say, be my girlfriend. I just asked her one day if I ever was mad enough to ask you to marry me, how would you respond? And she said, until you are mad enough to ask me, I wouldn't know what
that is Tonya. That is Tonya right there.
So after like another 2 weeks, I asked, and she said, is it hypothetical? You are saying if. I'm like, so then I allowed another 2 weeks, and I said, okay, right now, would you marry me? And she said, well, we're not even dating, so
I remember the story. You've told me this.
Exactly. And I'm like, but that is the whole idea. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah. Because I know that she was such a dear friend. If I got involved in another relationship, she'll become secondary. If she got involved in another relationship, I'll become secondary. So, like, okay. If to keep this friendship, marriage is the only way out. So let's get married. And she said, okay, fine. And then we got married. We had nothing and we got married. And here we are.
Yeah. Such a beautiful love story.
Here we are.
Yeah. I remember those days. I do.
Exactly.
It's just they make me laugh, all kinds of, and that the wonderful thing about our relationship was that we're all open with each other. We were just, there was nothing. This two, even just me being there, it was like I wasn't there. They could say anything. There's nothing I haven't heard between you and Antonio. Seriously, it's like oh my God, I'm just, I just, but the wonderful.
And to think that when we were just platonic friends, if I was involved with any girl or whatever, she knew about it. And she used to be the one to say, okay, you took A to the club last week. Okay, take B this time around, or take C this time around. So she used to be my
coordinator. No, you guys are meant to be. You guys are meant to be. One thing that is very obvious in your relationship, there's a friendship there, a true friendship.
Totally.
True friendship. And then laughter.
Totally.
Laughter.
People ask me, do you guys quarrel? I'm like, well, we try to avoid things that will make us quarrel. She knows what to piss me off. I know what. Yeah, do you quarrel? Yeah, sometimes you have this moment of, I don't see it the way you see it. But then before 2 hours, you even forget. You just forget that, oh, we just had an argument. Why are we smiling at each other? Are we supposed to be boning each other? And then we laugh again, and that's all. So,
yeah.
And again, another thing I also did was never to accept, even when I had the opportunity, like in a big house, eventually, we always agreed that we're never going to have separate rooms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was never going to be a case of, oh, you're in your space, I'm in my space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when each other's faces a million times in the bathroom and everywhere, so you better just learn to accept each other and see each other. Yeah. You have nowhere to escape to.
There's no way. I remember the last time, because every time I go to Nigeria, of course, I've got to hang with my pips. And I remember it was like we just picked up where we left off. He came, we're all in bed, this thing, and making fun and just good old unbiased, just accepting all round lovely fun. They're good people. They're good people. I mean a lot. Yeah, that's nice. So before I let you go, we're going to bounce back now to your professional life. You have been in the lives of a lot of artists, a lot, both. Oh, before I forget, you work for P-Man.
Yeah.
How was that? Alex Okoroji, right?
Tony Okoroji.
Tony Okoroji. Oh my God.
Yeah, Alex. Yeah. No. Alex is the daughter.
Okay, so Tony Okoroji.
Yeah.
Tony, how can I forget that? Tony Okoroji. Yeah, how was that? Oh my God, this is a story.
It was very
before.
Beautiful experience, and it was, like I say, again, sometimes God just orders a step, and in life, your steps in life, like you're gonna be here at this time and be there at the other time. So if you submit to say, okay, sometimes we fight with our intuition, or maybe what we think is the God factor in our lives. So sometimes if you are humble enough and say, God, do with me what you want. There's some people are afraid to say to God, do with me what you want, because maybe they want to be superstars, and then they're afraid, what if God makes me a good man, if that is what he wants? But trust me, if God makes you a good man, there will be a supreme purpose why he wants that to be. We all can be president. We all can be superstars. If you have a doctor in the theater, you're going to have a nurse. You're going to have somebody who cleans. It's the way the life is ordered.
Right.
Essentially. So I was a journalist, and then I was very interested in the development of the music industry, where they were playing too much foreign music in Nigeria. Weren't making progress as much as we should have. This is before the internet. So as a journalist, I used to interrogate those situations, ask questions. So I'd gone to interview them at Pima and Tony, and then they were like, wow, journalists come here all the time, but your angle is kind of different. Then I was talking to copyright and this and that and the royalties. I'm like, oof. Okay, if you have this kind of knowledge, why don't you come put your, how did they say it,
put your money where your mouth is.
Exactly. Exactly. Get involved.
Yeah.
In the struggle. So I said, okay. Then I was hustling, doing journalism, and then doing the early days of, I won't call it Nollywood, pre-Nollywood. I was involved with pre-Nollywood. I was involved with some effort to do some series, either as cameraman at one time or the other. So, and I was doing my postgraduate in Unilag. So I was kind of confused along so many lines, trying to survive. So I said, okay, you guys don't worry. On my honor, when I finished my PGD, because I did the PGD, then I went back for the MSc. I said, okay, when I do after my PGD, I'll come and I'll work for you guys for 1 year. They didn't even have enough money to pay me, but I was convinced I didn't know how I was going to survive, but I just made the promise. I'll come and work for you guys for 1 year and help to turn things around or just add whatever I can add. Yeah, and I kept my promise, even though by the time I was getting out of Unilag, I had a job offer that was going to pay me like 4 times more than what people could pay. But I had to keep my promise, and I went there. And I'm happy that, again, not really happy, but it's heartwarming to know that people refer to the period I was in PMAN as one of the highlights or
most
a period where, like a very good reference point for whatever I put in there. So I was there, did the bid I told, and it was when I left PMAN, the problems of PMAN followed me. So people were coming to me for advice to do this, to do that. So that was how I ended up taking on so many artists, working with them and for them.
Yeah.
Many people couldn't pay. It wasn't about the money, it was just the love to just see that there's progress, you know. I mean, you travel with an artist from here to Kano, you're not being paid 1 dime, just to be sure that it has a good show. We help him with technicals, and you're just happy to have done it.
Right.
Yeah.
You did the groundwork. You're a visionary. I mentioned that very early on.
Thank you.
You are, because I would say that your contribution, getting into that entertainment industry, changed the terrain. It did, because you were ahead of your time. You saw things you wanted. There's a difference between the artists that you packaged, the shows that you packaged, compared to others. You set giant steps. So anyone coming behind you, I mean, for those, because you inspired a lot of other people, to get into that type of business, and they had big shoes to fill. It wasn't easy. It's not easy following behind you, Eddie. It's not. You've made a name. You've carved a niche. You've owned your turf, and you've done it very well. And you're still doing it. Why we're talking like you're 100 years old. You're still doing it. That's the EDI LAWANI. Okay, guys. Okay. Thank you so much. You
It's
know,
my pleasure, man.
it's I love you. I love you. I
I
do.
love you too. You know that. You know how it is.
I know how it is. You know, again, if you're just tuning in, this is a Mezza Live, and I had one of my special people today, EDI LAWANI. And if you're watching on YouTube, of course, you can see the love. He is a giant in entertainment, show promotion. There's no artist right now that is in Nigeria that didn't one way or the other get influenced by EDI LAWANI. Either they came directly from you or from people that understudied you. That's the truth. We're just gonna keep it real.
Thank you.
He's a
Thank
very
you.
humble man, but this is Eddie. This is Eddie for you. And I love you, brother. And
Thank you.
thank you for coming on. I'm actually going to I'm also going to be having Tonya. I will. I want to talk to Tonya. There's something Eddie always says, and she's like, she has Tony love my friends.
She has to leave my friends. So.
Oh my God, I love the two of you. But thank you so much. And Eddie's going to be back. He's we're going to have
I'll be
things.
happy to be back.
We just want to hang out. So he'll be back to hang out. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your contribution to the advancement of entertainment as we know it in Nigeria. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. So, any last word? I always ask people before they leave, last word. What is the last word for people coming behind you? What is it you want to impact? What do you want to be known for?
Well, I want to be known for the fact that I tried to do the best I could while I could, and people should always do that and look beyond personal benefits when they try to solve problems. Do the best you can at all times. Money should not be the primary motivator in our relationship with our environment. Like I always say, I think, then I learn, I do, I teach, and I share. Those are my guiding principles. Never get tired of learning. Don't get lazy and stop thinking. And when you have learned, you have to try and impact and teach people. And then whatever material benefits you think you have, don't ever stop sharing with people. And let there always be a purpose to your existence.
Wow.
And avoid things that you can't be proud of.
Wow.
It's tough, but try.
Try. Eddie, before you leave, again, Eddie is so humble. You do have like a youth program you're running?
Yeah, I, in the last few years, I've been paying attention to sharing knowledge. So there's what we call the Summer Tech School. The Summer Tech School is a traveling knowledge portal whereby you go to a place and get people who beyond the glees, beyond the paparazzi effect, people who want to walk in the background and just make things happen, like the back end guys. Like we're here doing Zoom and whatever right now. There are people who are developing apps, improving, fixing bugs. You would never get to know who they are. but
Wow.
they make things happen, which
Right.
is how I have been over the years, except
Wow.
now that I'm older, you can look back and talk about it. Yeah. So we try to mentor and give people their first induction or introduction into what show business is and into the different areas where they can develop their skills and play in the industry other than just in front of the camera. I've
Right.
met some people who wanted to be musicians for many years and it just didn't add up. And you say to them, you know, you can actually be an audio engineer. And then boom, they find their essence. And maybe still end up from being audio engineers, end up becoming involved with productions, and even now end up becoming more than musicians they wanted to be. So sometimes it's just how we order our steps on
Right.
our
Mentoring.
track.
You need someone to mentor and help you choose a
Yeah, yeah. So we're doing that mentoring program for a number of youths.
yeah.
Um, were it not for the COVID, we would have done Plateau State and Edo State and Delta State this year already. So when things get back to normal, we'll get back. If you stay so for a while, maybe we'll have to do remote learning, like maybe turn to Zoom or
Right.
something.
Right.
But again, because it involves practical in some cases, because it's like raw basics. You want to go into lighting. Okay, what is a light? Have you ever seen lights? Okay,
Right.
this is it. This is
Oh,
how it. So you give them introductory exposition to that space. And out of 100 participants, maybe end of the year, following year, you have about 30 people who have joined the army of back enders or behind camera, and then it covers sound engineers, lighting guys, set design and construction. And I also bring in a few friends to talk on some specialist area because again I can't
right.
do everything. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a great
So we
thing.
have that going on.
Yeah, see again, I know Eddie. I just remembered now reading that somewhere, and I think Tony had talked to me about it, and that's why I'm like, let me bring that up because Eddie is so humble. But that's a great thing, though, because there are people. Everybody can be in front of the camera. There are back end people, and they make
Yeah,
it happen. They make the ones in front of the camera look good.
exactly.
You know, appear good, sound good, and be successful. So there are people, and that's so true, who don't necessarily want to be in the forefront. They're just, behind and they make things happen. So it's
Yeah,
nice to harness that in people, in young people, knowing that, look, beyond this, there's this other part they probably didn't even know about. They
yeah.
don't know about. Wow.
Like you find a student who has studied physics or electrical engineering in school, and 2 years down the line, he say, "I'm looking for a job." You're looking for a job. Somebody can use your skill in a movie set. Somebody can use your skill in a sound studio,
Hmm.
in a concert space. You just need to apply that textbook knowledge that you have, and you probably do better than people who haven't studied it
True.
because you have a chance to be hands-on. And how can you say you are a painter and you don't have a job, you do the art, nobody's buying painting? I said, no. How about you take a 6 month course in production design, the look and feel of production, and apply that skill? It could be doing music videos, something as simple as painting tires or barrels
Wow.
or containers and arranging them nicely as some backdrop for a video shoot. You have to apply yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the basic knowledge, is what to do with it, but we just think everybody must end up in an office, in an air-conditioned office, in a tie and jacket. So that mentality needs to wait. There are people who are in Hollywood who are big gaffers. Some bash cable. You just hold the cable and run behind the guy with the ENG camera like all over the place. And you've done that for 30 years. It's some skill. and they earn a living.
Oh, they
We
do.
all can be directors and producers and stars. They have to be the people, those who are the back
Yeah,
line, the
yeah.
back end.
The back
So,
end.
yeah, so I'm trying to help empower that next generation and subsequent generation, so we don't have a break.
You see, I keep using the word visionary. See, how I keep using that word. It's your calling. It's what you do. You know, you mold people and you help them find their path. That's what a visionary does. You see a need, a void, you fill it. You make it, and that's what's always worked for you. Wow. Okay, the Eddie. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you.
This is Ameze, and if you're watching this, it's on AMZ TV, and on my podcast is Ameze Live. And please remember to follow me on my social media, which is Ameze Superstar on Instagram and Twitter, and my Facebook is Ameze. Please go ahead and like my page so I can keep bringing wonderful giants like Eddie onto my show. You're a giant. Yes, you are. And we
Yes, and let's all remember to be safe, and let's keep looking for a solution to COVID-19.
I know.
So we can get our lives back.
Yes. So until I catch you on the next episode, please be kind, be blessed, and like Eddie said, be safe. All right, my brother. I love you. Talk to you soon.
I will say.